Been a minute. I hope we're all well. Last couple of weeks have been kind of a blur, to be quite honest. I don't know what's happened. Queen passing and funeral taking place and a whole bunch of police officers, doing a procession and, not having enough police to do football matches, a lot of cancellations. Just been a maddest couple of weeks. But we'll get right into it. Obviously, match day 7 was completely cancelled because of the Queen and obviously her passing and the funeral taking place as well. So a few games were off as well in week 8. But we'll go into it anyway. We'll start off at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Southampton 0. Probably the deadest game of the weekend, if I'm being honest. I think Aston Villa deserved the victory, but I don't think the game was great. There wasn't many clear-cut chances that I can remember. And I think Southampton away from home are just shocking, to be quite honest. Aston Villa weren't great against a better opposition. They would have probably lost that game. But as it stands, Villa took the points, eased the pressure off Gerrard a little bit, trying to find a bit of an identity, but I still think they need to play Ings and Watkins as a strike force. They need to pair those two up in order to score a few more. But Southampton went on nothing at all. So 3 points for Villa. For them, Nottingham Forest 2, Fulham 3. Fulham have been on smoke all season. And I don't know where it's come from. Marco Silva, pat yourself on the back, because he's somehow turned a very, very average footballing side in Fulham into one of those teams that you're going to be in a game. This season they look just a different outfit. Mitrovic looks like he's reinvented himself as well. It feels a bit different with Fulham. I had Fulham down to get relegated this season. I might have to retract that and rethink where they're going to finish, because they're playing well in every game. They're scoring goals in every game as well. And obviously you need to do that in this league. I just feel like they're on something a bit different. They found a style of playing, and they do have a couple of ballers in there that can get the job done. As for Forest, I think they've signed too many players. I still think Forest will stay up. I just think it's a matter of time now before everyone starts to gel. These last couple of weeks have probably helped them. The international break as well, of course. So I think that might help them moving forward. They can actually find an identity with the new players that they've got. I don't think they'll struggle this season. But yeah, Fulham taking the points there at the City ground. We'll go to Molineux next. Karate Kick Central. Wolverhampton 0, Manchester City 3. Haaland on the score sheet again. That boy is a beast. Manchester City have a certain style of football that if you don't shackle them quickly, they could literally run all over you. And that's what pretty much happened over the weekend. Don't get me wrong, Wolverhampton played very well. Very, very well. But Manchester City don't have to get out of third gear to win games. That's the scary thing about it. They're not playing to their full potential yet. There's still more to come from them. So that was pretty comfortable. Of course, Haaland on the score sheet again. Jack Grealish, I think, scored after a minute before he took that karate kick to the stomach. But he should be back fit now. So Manchester City is still the favourites, obviously, to win the league. Wolverhampton will literally just be sat mid-table, very, very mediocre at the moment. Very easy win for City. We'll go to Newcastle, Bournemouth, because I think Brighton, Crystal Palace was postponed. So Newcastle versus Bournemouth, St James's Park. Shocking one. 1-1 that one ended. I had Newcastle, all ends up to beat them. Bournemouth have picked up 4 points since the sacking of Scott Parker, which is quite good. All things considered, I still think Bournemouth are going down, but Bournemouth are showing a bit of a toughness, which I didn't think they had, to be quite honest. I don't think they've got enough goals in the team. I really don't. I think they'll concede every game. Newcastle, on the other hand, a little bit flat for my liking. Of course, they still carry injuries. I think Maximan and Wilson are obviously big misses. They've also added Isak to the mix as well. So obviously, once everyone's fit, they'll be a lot better. So I've got no worries about Newcastle. I still think they'll finish in the top 7, top 8 anyway. So no problems there. But 1-1 felt like a bit of a dab squib, that one. I expect a lot more from Newcastle. Bournemouth are kind of at the level I expected them to be. We'll go to Tottenham versus Leicester next. I was actually at the game. Won the game 6-2. Horrible first half. Our facets of play are terrible. We're playing too deep. I don't think the two-man midfield works. I do think Basuma needs to be in there now. I think Son and Kane need to be a two up top. I think we need another body in there because we're getting absolutely bullied and dominated every game so far. Conte changed the second half, brought Basuma on, played a three in midfield, and we scored another, for 3 goals in the second half. Son came on, scored a 17-minute hat-trick, as you do. You can't do that to world-class players. You can't be talking nonsense and expect them not to retaliate. So Son responded in the best way he knew how. Come on, killed the thing, as you do, innit? So it is what it is. Leicester are looking every bit as relegation fodder as you can imagine. It's just getting from bad to worse for them. They're conceding far too many. They don't score enough. I think they conceded like 10 goals in the past 2 games, and that's just down to ourselves and Brighton alone. They're in big trouble. And I don't see how Brendan Rodgers is going to stop it. I think he's been given a bit more time to try and turn it around. I don't think that time is going to help, but that's just me. We'll see this weekend. We'll go to Brentford against Arsenal. I was expecting a bit more from Brentford. I've got to be honest. I think Arsenal from start to finish pretty much blew them out the water. Which is a little bit of a shock for me because I thought Brentford at home are one of the most legit teams at home in the Premier League. But it just shows that once you have a cohesive unit, like Arsenal seem to have, you can be torn apart if you let them play. And Brentford pretty much just sat back off them and let them play. They didn't do what Man United did where you try to swarm them, you get into them. Arsenal only have one way of playing. They are always going to play high up the pitch. There's ways you can beat that. There are ways you can beat that. And Man United showed you the way. Usually the counter. Because that's the only weapon that will kill them. Because if you try to go to toe with them, they can kill you. I'm just so disappointed in Brentford. So disappointed. No style, no rhythm. We've quite easily opened up at every opportunity Arsenal had. It was just not a good game for them. Arsenal, on the other hand, looked good. I don't like praising them too much for obvious reasons. But credit where credit is due. They got the 3 points. They now sit on the top of the league again. Yeah, 3 points Arsenal. Chelsea, Liverpool, Stamford Bridge was postponed, which I'm annoyed about because that was one of the games that could have gone ahead. They could have cancelled another one of those games over the weekend, but chose that one. Why? Man United, Leeds United, yeah, postponed again, so that's going to be rescheduled for another day also. And Everton versus West Ham was the final game of that weekend. Everton taking the win, 1-1-0. West Ham are a weird one. They've got a really decent squad. They just haven't found the formula yet, I don't think. Everton signed really well. I might have to rethink about them in the league now, which I'm a bit annoyed about because I did want them to get relegated, to be fair. But they signed really well. And Neil Maupay is a good striker, really good striker. He scored the winning goal. Yeah, it's a strange one. West Ham, they've got a very decent squad, but maybe it's a case of them being found out. They have an out-and-out striker now in Scamacca, who obviously needs time to settle and obviously bed in. Michail Antonio is not a number 9 for me. Sorry, he just isn't. Their midfield is actually okay. Defensively, they're quite sound and they've got a very reliable goalkeeper. I just don't know where it's all going wrong for them, to be quite honest. Jared Bowen seems off the boil. Declan Rice seems to be doing too much. Fornal seems to be doing too little, funnily enough. Lanzini can't get a game. It's a bit of a weird one with West Ham at the moment. How Moyes fixes that, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he will at some point. As for Everton, I think they'll start climbing the table now. The signings, of course, have impacted them in a very positive way. Didn't lose against Liverpool, obviously went on to beat West Ham, so they will pick up points, it looks like. So 3 points for them, which obviously helps them at this moment in time. Predictions. Match day 9, of course, which is obviously this weekend, kicks off with none other than the North London derby. live from the Emirates. I am doing a bit of an event for that as well, which obviously certain people know about. Predictions for that. So I'm of the volition that if Conte plays the three in midfield, we win that game. Because I don't think Arsenal can cope with a three-man midfield, to be quite honest. I don't think they can. I think if a free midfield against Arsenal is played, especially with our wing-backs, we take the game. I don't think they're going to handle Son and Kane. I see Son and Kane both scoring for that game. I think Arsenal will score too, as they always do. I see it being a 2-1 to us, 2-2 kind of game. I don't see us losing it, to be quite honest. I think Conte's got a plan. But as long as he plays a three-man midfield, I really do feel like we could take that game to him. I've put Basuma on Jesus. I'd utilise the wing-backs. I don't think Doherty deserves to be on the bench, to be quite honest with you. And I really do think he deserves to play. Maybe some people will say Emerson's a better defender. But we do need to attack. We can't just sit back and expect to not do anything moving forward. So I do expect a lot of goals, and I do think we'll do it. So I'll go 1-0. 2-1 even, for us to win, or 2-2 draw. We'll go to Anfield, Liverpool versus Brighton. Since Graham Potter has left, I think Brighton are going to lose that game. I think Liverpool will take it 2-1. They'll play themselves back into form. I do think that Brighton will still be fine. But I still think Liverpool will struggle. I really do. I think Sadio Mane was a massive loss to them, and Virgil van Dijk seems to have been found out by every single striker this season already. So I think their starters just burnt them out. They play really, really good football. It is attractive, but it's very, very, very tiring, and it looks like it's taking its toll on them. So we'll see. But this weekend, I do see Liverpool taking it to Brighton. I do see them winning 2-1. Craven Cottage next. Fulham, they're up against Newcastle. I'll say Fulham take that 2-1 again. Newcastle are in really fine form, but I'm not sure of the injuries of St. Maximin and Wilson. I do think that hinders them a lot, because I think a lot of Newcastle's good play is funneled through those two. And I just don't think they've got that focal point to do it. Fulham are in really good form at the moment as well, and they're winning games, which I wouldn't have said at the start of the season. They're winning a lot of games. Mitrovic is in the form of his life. I think Mitrovic hit 5 over the international break as well. Very, very good form, and I do see Fulham taking another 3 points here. So I'll go 2-1 to Fulham at Craven Cottage. St. Mary's, Southampton, they play Everton, I believe, over the weekend. I see that one being a draw. Don't ask me why. None of those teams defensively are good enough, and both of them are very capable of scoring. Even though Southampton last game were quite terrible. At home they've been better. They have obviously beaten Chelsea at home as well. So I see that one being a bit of a draw. Everton will take another point, and of course, this new sort of renaissance they found, I think that will continue. So I'll go for a draw there. This one's a bit of a banana skin, I think. Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace versus Chelsea, and I'm talking a banana skin for Chelsea. Palace at home is never a good away day for anybody. Throughout the years of the Premier League, anyone that goes to Palace know you're going to be in a game. That pitch is very, very small. The crowd are on top of you. They're very loud. Graham Potter, as the Chelsea manager, I do believe may struggle. I'm gonna go. I think I'll be a draw. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be 2-2 all around. I don't see Chelsea not conceding. Palace will score. Zaha's in very good form as well. I think he's on 5 Premier League goals this season already as well. It's a really, really good return from him. I just think Crystal Palace are one of those teams that will cause Chelsea a lot of problems, as they do at home with everybody. And I don't see that changing this weekend. So I'll go Palace 2, Chelsea 2 for that. Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth versus Brentford. Oh, I think Bournemouth might take that, 1-0. Don't ask me again. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why. It's just a feeling I get. Bournemouth will take that win. They seem to have played themselves into really, really decent form at the moment, and they seem a bit more cohesive. there's a bit more about them. Gary O'Neill's got them playing, very resolute. So I don't think they'll be breached very easily. In saying that, Tony is one of the informed strikers in the league. Just earned his call up to England as well. So didn't play, obviously, over the international weekend or break even. But potential. There's potential in that. And I do believe Bournemouth will take that 1-1 now. I don't think it'll be a high goal scoring either. One of those sort of drab games, to be quite honest with you. But a Bournemouth win for me. 3 points for them, I think. London Stadium, West Ham versus Wolverhampton. I would say a West Ham win purely because West Ham are at home. Purely because they're in need of a win. I just think Wolverhampton just aren't at that level yet where they can start putting chances away. They haven't got their talisman back yet. I know they just signed Diego Costa as well, but how fit is he going to be at the moment? I doubt it. And he's what, 34, 35 years old? I think it's going to be more of the same. I think West Ham will take it to Wolves, and I think West Ham will beat them 2-0. That's what I'm going with. I think Wolves will obviously create chances, as they always do. I just don't think they'll put any away. West Ham, I'll go 2-0 for that. On to Sunday. Small matter of the Manchester derby. That's from the Etihad. Manchester City versus Manchester United. So obviously Manchester United have obviously found a bit of form. Bit of a renaissance under Ten Hag. Really, really good teams as well they've beaten in that run. So obviously beating Liverpool, beating Arsenal. Different kettle of fish, this one. Obviously beat them, Liverpool and Arsenal at home. They're away for this one. Manchester City look very, very ruthless. Don't get me wrong, they look very, very beatable. Manchester City have a style that you can overcome if you're switched on for 90 minutes. I just feel like this ain't that time. I think City will take it. I do believe Haaland is scoring. I've actually put a bet on for that, for Haaland to score a brace in that game. And it will be over 2.5 goals as well. So I've gone for that. I understand Man United have a couple of injury worries, injury scares as well. I think Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial could be out. So Cristiano may start. And we all know what happened over the international break with him. So I'll go over Man City win there, home win there. Ellen Road, Leeds United versus Aston Villa. I'll go Leeds United. I think Aston Villa were just atrocious away from home. I don't think they're very good away from home. They're very, very useless. Have showed that every away game this season. Whereas Leeds at home have actually started pretty well. I think Rodrigo might be back as well. Patrick Bamford's coming back up to fitness fully as well. Dan James starting to get a run of games as well. Actually, when I talk about Dan James went on loan, didn't he? He went out on loan to somebody. Fulham, I think it was, yeah. Never mind. So scratch that last one. But Leeds have got some very, very good players. Very, very good players. And I do think Leeds will take that 1-2-1 for me at Ellen Road against Aston Villa. And then we've got the Monday Night Football, which is live from the King Power. I kept calling it the Walker Stadium before. I don't know why. It used to be called that. The King Power Stadium, which is obviously Leicester versus Nottingham Forest. I see Leicester winning this game. Purely because it's Monday Night Football, it's going to be under the lights. The crowd are going to be up for it. Nottingham Forest aren't in the best of form. Yeah, those are all the factors I'm throwing into it. I see Leicester picking up their first win of the season, based on the fact that they haven't got the points yet. Like I said, they are at home. It is a Monday, under the lights. A Leicester home win because it's due. And Nottingham Forest aren't in any position at the moment away from home. I think they picked up 1 point so far. So yeah, there you have it. That is my roundup for the past couple of weeks or so. I know it seemed like it was a bit quick. I had a lot of bits going on, but yeah, we'll be back on it now. I'll probably do another video at some point in the next week, if not on Sunday, after the games, obviously. But for now, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your evening tonight. And yeah, I'll see you again in the next week or so.